All right. Hey, everybody. Again, this is Fast Track. This is where we go through lesson 1 through 5 and the basics of the program, many ways to go through the basics. You've got a small digital book and workbook. You got the more robust book with the meal ideas. We're going to talk about that some in the Journey class, getting a lot of feedback about some improvements that can be made. So since I can't make them to a published work, I'll go over how to use the book better. But for Fast Track, just know that there's a book, there's a small digital book and workbook. There's videos, and then there's these live sessions. I think a combination of the written material along with these live sessions is best. Going through Fast Track is really important. It doesn't take long to do that at all. There's a great teacher that teaches the basics there in Fast Track. You want to go through those Fast Track videos, take test, pass test, earn the badge. The more times you do that, repetition is the mother of skill. The quicker it's going to sink down in the heart, and you're going to, in the mind, however you want to say that, and you're going to find yourself understanding it. You're going to start looking at a plate and understanding what food shouldn't be paired on that plate. You're going to be looking at a plate and know if you're eating out that they used a vegetable oil there, and that's a no-no with that carbohydrate. If everybody on the planet Earth, there's not, we're not talking famine, we're talking U.S., Europe, all the places where obesity is in our country, it's the worst. All where it permeates. If they would just do this program, there'd be no problems. We would put so many pharmaceutical companies out of business that I would probably be on the hit list. This program, if you do it and do it right, you'll find that it's practical, it's sustainable, it's fun, and it's powerful. God's given us everything we need to easily target and eliminate unwanted body fat faster than we can with pharmaceuticals. If you pay attention to all those commercials, supplements and pharmaceuticals, they always say, by the way, you have to be eating and exercising, and you can expect 1 pound to 2 pounds a week of loss. You can do that with this program. You can do better than that with this program. If you'll just hear me, if you'll just trust me and trust the great cloud of witness that is here. I know it sounds too good to be true if you're new, but it is not. Okay. Powerful food combining behavior modification, just coming back to the Lord. It will change your life. But what we're up against is there's been the tares that's sown amongst the wheat. Any program that tries to permanently eliminate a macronutrient, and that's their program, you should run. You're not going to be able to avoid carbs or avoid fat. You just need to learn nutrition, have a big why, and get the job done. That will take care of this. And by the time that we chase all these shiny objects, by the time we chase them, we run here, we run there, we could have already put our head down and got this done. Time is going to pass whether we do this or not. So let's keep going. Let's get through. If this week was your first introduction, we start again Monday. Okay, if you're struggling with what to eat come Monday because you're so new, you haven't figured out these easy food. Now, I don't mean that as an insult. I know it's not easy in the beginning. It wasn't to me. It wasn't to me when I was learning what bread to put with my peanut butter. It took a little while. But then once I got it's like riding a bike now. But I'm constantly engaging, teaching, learning, and that's part of it too. So you've got to be in that same vein because our culture, as it exists today, it may be changing, but as it exists today, we're using food for all the wrong reasons. We're using it as a coping mechanism as opposed to sustenance. We have to find other things we enjoy other than food. And we talk about all of that. So if you're new here, get that meal plan from Lisa and just work that meal plan next week. Keep coming to class. And then on Friday, we take the test, pass test, earn the badge. So I'm going to show you where the test is. I'm not going to go through it. I'm going to let you do that. But then we're going to just have fun summary and quiz time and make sure that everybody's on the same page, doesn't have any questions. We will not go to, we will not go to another link. We will not go to another link at 10:30. We'll just stay in here for the journey. We do that on Wednesday and Friday. With that said, when we go into the website, we go into the website and we have got Fast Track. We've got Fast Track. We go through our Fast Track videos. We take the test, pass the test, and earn the Fast Track badge. That's where it starts. I click that. I've got my downloadable combination chart and I've got my videos. Earn that badge. The system, had somebody, it's been a while back, but they said these badges ain't worth nothing. Give me some money and then I'll do the program. You know, a digital badge means nothing to me. I get that. I wish I could pay people to earn the badges. So why are they in there? It's just a digital badge. Did you know every aspect of this we tried to pull from the research that's out there? Every time you have a task and you check it off, or every time that you have a task and you earn even a digital badge, you get a dopamine release, you just feel good. If you'll pay attention, you'll notice every badge that you earn for a minute, it's a feel good. You're like, good. So it's just a reward system. It's just a trophy, if you will. Heck, even money is moving to digital currency. So this is like you just participated in something and got a trophy. Like I used to get at the rec department, my little football, Pee Wee football trophies that meant so much to me that I still have. The same thing goes. This is a digital badge. So the system recognizes that you've achieved something. When you earn that Fast Track badge, then you've done something. And I hope you'll earn it more than once. When I look at the back end of the website and the information, I can segregate these people haven't earned it, these people have earned it. And there's just no comparison between the weight loss. So it is meaningful. So learn the foundation. We start on a foundation here of faith. Then we learn nutrition, starting with Fast Track. Then exercise and supplementation. So that's how we put the 4 legs under this wellness chair that will hold us up. And we start with 2, faith and nutrition principles. So go through and earn the Fast Track badge. I want you to do that. Here's your advanced combination chart. There's some others that are condensed. Just use this one. And I could come up with 50 more. The whole purpose of these charts is to help you, depending on your goals. If you want to go faster, you can go faster. But even the blue column works for weight loss. It's just going to be slow weight loss if all you're doing is the blue column. As we discussed this week, I think the blue column that people avoid is the most important column. It's the one that saved my life. I already knew that I could eat chicken and broccoli and lose weight, for Pete's sake. But I didn't know that I could eat fruit and carbohydrate and still lose weight. We just can't eat it by itself. Every time we put 2 foods together, or 1 food, there's a chemical conversation going on in our body. And we're trying to keep 2 parties that don't get along, we're trying to keep them away from each other, so to speak. Really, it's that they get along too well, that being sugar, glycogen, and fat, especially long-chain triglyceride fats. If you came this week, one of the things I noticed, Karen posted the MCT oil is back. Beautiful. Medium chain triglyceride oil, that one little nugget that I put in my shepherd's pouch, where I started exclusively cooking with it and ghee butter in my home, has radically changed my life and health. And it will yours too. We don't know unless somebody tells us. This is why you don't see MCT oil on the grocery store shelf. You'll see coconut oil, but you won't see MCT because it's a little more expensive. Per serving is pennies, just pennies. But because you're buying a quart of it, grocery stores won't keep it because nobody will buy it. It can't speak. If it was on the shelf and it had a voice coming out of it going, this fat, unlike the one beside me, has less propensity to be stored as fat. In fact, I almost can't be stored as fat. Then you would start exclusively eating that at home, but it can't talk for itself. So we don't see these healthy foods. So learning about nutrition is paramount. Learning how to have my tater, learning how to have my fruit, learning how to have my pintos, etc. Okay, so before I go any further, are there any questions? Let's try to keep the questions relegated to the fast track information, just beginner stuff. And you may have been here 10 years and have a question. That's fine. Do you have any questions before we start summarizing the week and making sure you understand food combining? Hey, Angela, got it. I just got my 150 back, lost 150 pounds, y'all. And you're walking so much. I'm like, how is she doing that? You're doing great. Any questions? Feel free.
I keep one of the elliptical foot machines under my desk here at work, and that's where how I get so much. I just at least
Oh,
15 minutes an hour I'm pedaling.
thanks for letting us in on your secret. More of
Mhm.
us need to do that.
I
Maximize
don't
that time.
I don't like sitting idle because I'm determined not to be in that wheelchair.
Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody got anything? Okay. So with our Shabola Shield, water, I'm going to do this quick. Drink your water, half a gallon to a gallon a day. Journal. If you bite it, you write it. Eating the right food combinations for insulin control. Portion, eat up to 3 eating episodes a day for optimization or less. You can have a fourth. You can even have freebies, but you start looking at maintenance, but that's good. It's like punting the football. You're not giving up any ground as long as you're controlling the insulin. We want to get to a place where we're eating 3 or less eating episodes a day. Less eating episodes, the more insulin control, the better off we're going to be. Then we have we just went over our portion, 6 to 8 inch plate. This is a good thing to do at home. This is a 7-inch diameter plate. Inside would be 6 inches. I eat off these almost every single day. So it helps you control your portions. Or if you don't have a plate, use the 2-hand rule. If you're a calorie counter and eating approved foods, a meal episode needs to be less than 400. That's not to say that Cindy can't have 800 because she's doing OMAD. We can, depending on what your goals are, we can modify the program, but we're teaching the underlying principles of the program first. Then there's the timing. The timing. So we used to say spread out those eating episodes 4 to 6 hours. You can still do that, but now we just make it simple. 12 to 16 hour fast. Anything with 0 calories during your fast is okay, unless we're really trying to dial down and eliminate some toxins or something. You're trying to deal with an autoimmune issue. But otherwise, if it's 0 calories or near 0 calories, then when we're fasting, we can have that. Your water, your spark, your unsweet tea, those types of things. But otherwise, we don't eat. We're letting our body get caught up on all that involuntary energy expenditure that goes on when we're digesting foods. Our bodies cannot really recover if we are constantly digesting food. That again, we brought up this point a few times this week. It's like when I was growing up, they would say, "Don't go swimming right after you eat," because if you ate a robust meal, whether they knew it or not, Maybe it was just something grandma taught. I don't know. But if you ate and then went swimming and you had eaten a robust meal, especially a lot of protein, your body is involuntarily having to break that food down. And when it's doing that, you don't have all your other energy faculties at your disposal for a swim, for weightlifting, for whatever it is. Anytime you're about to be active, it's good if you need something to eat, make sure it's pre-digested so that it's not hard on the digestive system. So we're constantly grazing. It is just part of our culture. Tell me it's not. It's slowly changing, but the obesity epidemic is on the rise because people probably are still eating the wrong things that are spiking insulin. But you want to make sure that you give your body 12 to 16 hours a day to just heal. You can't be grazing and feeding all day. There's 4 phases of digestion. And if you're always in one of those phases, except for the elimination phase, your body just can't keep up. And we just do it every single day. And when we're eating foods that also spike insulin, that's a real issue. So 12 to 16 hours a day, we want to get to 16. And that's really not enough. Hunter-gatherers, they didn't eat every day. And I'm not going to even start that debate in a beginner class, but that our bodies are just not made to do that. It can take 36 hours to fully digest a really solid whole food meal. So we want to be this to be a doable.
I got a question.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? So there was a term that you gave that our body goes into, and it pretty much starts at 16 hours. Can you think about what term I can't remember?
It's autophagy. It's spelled like autophagy. Autophagy. And what that means is you're basically, in layman's terms, you're ceasing feeding. So it's like you just stop working out, right? So blood flow will start slowing down, blood flow to the digestive system and to the organs. So what happens with autophagy, basically your organs are shrinking. They're getting less blood flow. Like if I pump my bicep, it expands a half an inch, blood flow to it. So you're getting blood flow constantly to the digestive system. It's lean tissue. So when you stop feeding at about 16 hours, things have so shrunk that they get a chance to heal. So you're basically, when you feed again, they start expanding again. Every time this process happens, you're knocking off toxins, you're knocking off stuff that's not good for you. So you're clearing out environmental toxins, food toxins. You're basically just giving the body an opportunity to catch up. We do a deep dive on this. There's some really great lessons in the Faithfully Fit section about this. 16 hours is when it begins. So if we were looking at a curve, instead of me pulling up that whiteboard, so autophagy, when it starts going up, okay, so autophagy hasn't started. At 12 hours, you can make the case that it's beginning a little bit, but at 16, it's really on the rise. It's really on the rise. And then it will peak out. It'll keep going up at 36 hours of fasting, hence the Tiger 36. At 36 hours, autophagy has peaked. Then you can keep it up there for up to 72 hours, but then it starts having a diminishing return because you're muscle wasting. So I like 36 and stop. So if somebody does a 36-hour fast 3 times a week, they've gotten 108 hours of fasting during their week. That's when healing can really take place. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense and blows my mind. Someday I may get there.
Yep, it's fasting. When we go over to the journey, really it should become one of the components of the program. Starting people out that way is kind of scary because they'll give up. If they can't accomplish it, they tend to, well, I can't do all that fasting. But as we learn more, what we'll find is if we try do it, it's a try for thing. So if I try for it tomorrow and I mess up, okay, I still had a perfect day. If I try for it again the next day and I hit it, what I'm going to notice is after I feed on the right foods after that fast, I feel incredible because you're just getting back all of your body's energy faculties is coming back in line instead of having to digest food all the time. And therefore, now you don't have food to digest. So your body has energy now to attack toxins and foreign agents that shouldn't be there. Does that make sense? Your killer cells that run around like snipers and taking out all the bad guys, they've got more energy now to go and deal with that, to deal with the toxins and the foreign agents that might cause a problem in the future if they're not addressed. But when you're feeding all of the time, your snipers, so to speak, they're having to deal with all kind of other matters. You only have so many armies inside of you from good bacteria, bad bacteria. You've only got so many armies. So what fasting does is allow for your armies to better be able to seek and destroy those things that will cause a problem in the future instead of having to seek and destroy the things that are causing a problem now. Does that make sense? Another one of my goofy analogies, but.
Yes, that makes absolute sense.
Awesome. Okay, so actually Fast Track just ended, but we're going to just stay because I got more I want to share and it'll be good for the journey people too. So when we're looking at our combination chart, we're learning how to put foods together and we know we've got to portion control these foods. If I'm craving something, I look for where it is on the chart. And then I know I build my plate around my cravings. Okay. So if I'm craving something, like I've been craving a potato lately, a big old white potato that's baked, and I got to use my butter, my sour cream, all that's a given, but I'm craving it on my portion plate. So I know it's got to fit in a quadrant of my plate. I'm good with that. I'm going to eat it with a baby spoon. I'm going to cherish, I'm going to revel in my baked potato with fat-free sour cream, salt, pepper, little butter spray, or ghee butter. So it's a category 3. I know that a potato is a 3. I can look it up in the library or whatnot. So I come up here and I see, all right, here's some 3s. What is it going to look like for me to have this? Oh, okay. I know the program very well. I've got some frozen shrimp and bay scallops in there, category 7. I've also got some riced cauliflower, category 2. I think that I will have my shrimp and scallops sauteed in my riced cauliflower, and I'll even make me a little approved yum yum sauce. So I've got shrimp and scallop stir fry. I'm going to even put me some green peas in there to make it look more like rice, but I'm not going to use so many green peas that it's a serving. I'm just going to use it as a garnish. It just feels a little better to have that. It feels more like rice. It's a condiment. Then I'm going to have my potato. So on my plate, I've got my shrimp and scallops and riced cauliflower. And then in one quadrant over here, I've got a 1/4 cup of potato if I'm trying to lose weight. I've got a 1/2 cup of potato if I'm in maintenance. I just had a perfect meal having my potato. If I had done that the wrong way, I would be storing fat. And not only would I be storing fat, for the next 2 days, I'm going to more readily store any fat that I eat because I ate the potato the wrong way. All right, so I'm going to throw some at you and you tell me if they're right or wrong. I'll let you pull up your combination chart. And I'm going to just throw some at you. So I'm at Applebee's. And Applebee's has a salmon, asparagus, and baked potato. and a side salad. Is that allowed?
No.
It's not allowed. What can I do to fix that meal?
Make it at home.
There you go. Make it at home. Is there anything I could do eating out and fix it?
No, because your meat's a 4 regardless.
Okay. Could I do this? Could I say bring me a little to-go box and put my potato and my salad in the to-go box and just eat the salmon and asparagus at Applebee's?
Yeah.
I sure could. Would it be, if I like salmon and asparagus, would that be delicious?
Oh, yeah.
And it comes with an invisible side item of weight loss. If I were to go ahead in that moment, it's the moments that get you in trouble. In that moment, the diet devil attacks. All thoughts are all lies all the time. Tell me I'm a lie. I'm telling the truth. So you start thinking, well, I don't want to miss out. And it would be so good right now. It'll be good later too. I can take that potato home. If it's not doused in butter, I can tell them how to just bring me a straight up potato. I want it. It comes with the meal. Take that home and I can have that later at home with the right foods. But I'm sitting there and either way I go, it's going to taste good. But I won't taste good and weight loss, not taste good and weight gain. So I could certainly do that. Could I just have it as is? Could I just eat that meal and each month still lose body fat?
Yes, sir. Could be your holiday.
There you go. Way to go, Charles. Just a holiday. It's no big deal. But I like to save my holidays because if you eat them all up in the beginning of the month, you're probably going to have a bad month. Save those holidays. Jocko has a saying. He's a motivational speaker. He says, never take days off because life will throw enough days off at you anyway. So it's kind of like that with this. If you're like, here's my 6 holidays for the month, you're probably going to have 12. So it's better to go, I ain't having any. And then when the opportunity comes up and you've earned the right, then go ahead and enjoy it. Okay, so we're at home. I'm at home and I pull out some frozen cod. I put it in my air fryer, season it, put some MCT oil in the air fryer, have some air fried cod that's seasoned perfectly. Then I have some stewed squash with some bouillon, salt and pepper on it. And then I have a proper portion of potato with 0-calorie butter spray, fat-free sour cream, salt and pepper. Is that allowed? It is. That's allowed. That's a perfect 1 + 2 + 3. So I'm wanting some peaches. Somebody brought some peaches by the house and they sure do look delicious. Do y'all like peaches? So these look delicious. I'm in maintenance. Could I have a peach by itself for lunch? Yes. What an amazing, healthy meal. And then I could probably go work out and feel even better. That little bit of fruit sugar, fructose. All right, so let's do this. I want to lose weight. Could I have the following? Could I have a category 2 bread with 4 ounces of boar's head maple glazed ham, lettuce, tomato, approved mayo, a lot of pepper on my tomatoes. I like that. And eat that sandwich and also have a peach for dessert? Yeah. Sure could. What if I have that sandwich and I have a bag of Quest chips with it and the peach? Could I do that? I could.
No.
I could get away with it, but what I would do in that scenario, if I wanted all of those, I would eat half the sandwich, the bag of chips, and the peach. That's how I would do that. Becomes more of a portion thing at that moment in time. However, I could do this. Here's why I say I could have the chips. Do the chips also count as a snack? They do. So if I had that sandwich and the peach and then I wanted to have a snack 2 episodes at once, I can always have a snack anytime as long as I only have one in the day. It doesn't matter how close it is to your meal. But yes, I could do that. Will I lose weight as fast? No. But at the same time, I'm still going to control insulin. I'm still going to lose weight. I'm living the lifestyle. You have to decide how fast you're going to drive to your destination. And it's up to you. You can stay red column and get there fast, but you might get a ticket. You might get a ticket. Popo might get behind you and pull you over for going too fast. What do I mean by that? If you start feeling deprived, you can get yourself in trouble too. But you have to know thyself and work through it like that. So could I do the following? Could I have, I've got boiled shrimp, Old Bay seasoning, boiled shrimp, scallops, and I've got some steamed broccoli, some ghee butter, and a half an ear of corn with some just a little bit of ghee on it, salt and pepper. Could I do that? If I want to go faster, all I got to do is drop the corn. So it's always a negotiation. Could I do this? I just had that same meal, but I put in the boiling pot 15 of those half ear corn. I want some more right now. Can I have more of the corn? No, Cindy's right. Because if you do, now we've got too much starch and we're not going to be able to offset those insulin levels. Does that make sense to y'all? Okay, some things we don't teach in Fast Track that should be in Fast Track that I'm working on the new website to putting it in there. Real quick, our pizza rules and our fast food rules. I see people really not getting to enjoy eating out because of this. Anywhere you go, any restaurant, if you can't find lean beef or a lean cut, I don't care what restaurant you go to, if you want to get you a single burger or a quarter-pound burger, even McDonald's, not Big Mac, that's not good quality meat. But if you're at a family-style restaurant or McDonald's, their quarter-pound beef, believe it or not, is some of the healthiest beef in America. You can always eat that, but you can't eat their bread. Now, often people think, they'll say, but I thought it had to be 93% lean to be a category 4. It does at home. So when we're eating out, we modify those rules. Now, if you're eating out every day, we need to talk because you'll never lose weight eating out every day. It's just not going to happen. There's too many sneaky calories. But for example, if my son wants to run by McDonald's, let's go by McDonald's. I've got my survival kit with me. If I don't, I just won't get a bread product. But I go in there with my tortilla, I order a quarter pounder, I throw away their bread, and I put it on my tortilla. Or if you have a bun, you can carry a bun. I prefer a tortilla because they last a lot. They're more shelf stable than bread. So anywhere I go, if you're just eating meat, not that it's ideal, you're not going to get yourself in trouble. And then let the rest of the items that you eat there be from your survival kit. When you're eating out, please watch out for dressing calories. A serving, 2 servings of honey mustard dressing, 400 calories. 400. You just had an entire meal's worth of empty calories when you do that. So at a restaurant, you either carry your salad dressing in or you ask for light Italian. If they don't have that and you forgot your dressing, then just use a smidge of blue cheese. It's not sugary, it's just fat. And as long as it's not coupled with carbohydrate, you'll be okay. You can always use lime and lemon juice. That's a good dressing when you get used to it. Also, wing sauce. When I go to Zaxby's, I've got my Walden Farms calorie-free blue cheese. It's not the best tasting stuff until you mix it with a little wing sauce. So I'll use wing sauce on my grilled chicken salad wing sauce with a little blue cheese. Pizza rules are simple. I'm only aware of one pizza eating out that's in the chain restaurants that we can have, and that's the thin crust Philly cheesesteak from Domino's. Thin crust Philly cheesesteak. You can have 2 slices of that with a salad or without a salad. All the other chain places, I'm not really aware of any of them having a good quality cauliflower crust. Avoid gluten-free crust. If it says gluten-free, that doesn't mean cauliflower always. Gluten-free crust is high in tapioca starch, will get you in trouble. You think you did a good thing because you ate a gluten-free crust, not good. If you're eating at the chains like Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's, you can have the toppings off of the pizza enough that will fit under the hand rule or on this plate. I sometimes will roll it up in my tortilla. It's really good. Or I'll put it over a salad if they've got salads. Or I'll eat it by itself. I'm not blowing it over some pizza bread. So that's something that you can do there. If it's a good restaurant like over here in Cartersville, I forget the name of it now. It's over there by Six's Tavern. But anyway, there's a restaurant. They've got a really good cauliflower crust. I always ask them, is this cauliflower, how many carbohydrate is this cauliflower crust? Because if it's more than 10 carbohydrate, they put stuff in there you don't need. So you want a really good cauliflower crust, and there's some good family style pizza joints, small chains that do go the extra mile and have a cauliflower crust. Then you can have 2, hopefully you have big hands like Will and I, but then you can have 2 slices on the cauliflower crust. It's always wise when you're eating out, just for good measure, if you can afford it, to take Carbees or a carb blocker of your choice and or berberine. Less insulin, more time in EFB, monthly, quarterly, yearly. All right. Nina's, that's it, Lynn. It's Nina's. They have a really good cauliflower crust. Angela's got a good tip there. Also, there was some pizza recipes in the book. So,
energy towards bearing fruit.
questions
like-
or comments?
Off unnecessary branches.
Yes, using lettuce wraps is good. What we're trying to do when we're eating out is get out of there unscathed. And it's a survival, it's a survival test when we're eating out. Of course, yes, you can have wings. You don't want to eat too many wings. 5 wings is about 700 calories. 5 is about it. If I know, example, there's a UFC fight coming on and son's coming over, he's wanting pizza and wings. Can't have both. That's too many calories. But I will save up all day so I can have 5 to 10 wings, and that will be all I eat that day. Because the portion of wings has to be so small. If you're just having wings and celery as a meal, they're still filling because of all the fat. I'm having dry rubs. Your dry rub seasonings, not your glazes, unless it's hot sauce. 5 wings, medium-sized wings is plenty for me. Now my stomach has shrunk. Used to, I could eat 30. I couldn't. I just would. I'd be ridiculously sick. But yeah, wings with dry rub seasoning or your buffalo sauce will work. Any other questions or comments? Anybody? You getting anything out of today? I know it's basics, but sometimes it's good to have a reminder of the basics. Remember what we're here to accomplish. How long has it been since you were at your ideal weight? What a beautiful thing it would be for you to wake up one morning and just to feel that. That, when you've got, like I had a pair of blue jeans that would not button, a size 40, I still keep that one pair. They would not button. I'll never forget when they button with ease. Same thing for size 32s. I almost threw them away. I didn't ever think I'd get back in a size 32. Imagine me being able at 6'3", I was in a size 44, and I can button with ease a size 32. That blows my mind. That's the power of the program if you live it long term. Feels good. It's one of those real life accomplishments that money can't buy. Anybody else got anything? I'll throw this at you while you're thinking of questions. If you've not gotten to your goal and you've been around Shibboleth for more than a year, do you not see the snares that the diet devil's laying for you, and that's all that's holding you back? It's those little mental traps. Can you not see it yet? It's just those little mental traps and those thoughts. All thoughts are all lies all the time. It's those little thoughts of FOMO or escaping a moment where you need to cope. All of those little things, the little foxes spoil the vines. That's what's holding you back. If you can ever overcome that and just learn to say no to your flesh and get your mind off of it. Only eat when it's time to eat. Be tough. Be vigilant. Imagine 6 months or less, almost everybody here could say, been there, done that. I'm never going back. I've reached my goal.
May I add a little something to that, brother?
Sir?
Can I add a little something to that?
Absolutely.
I've said this before, but there might be somebody new here. And our speech has to change also. You know, I used to be bad in the beginning, say, well, I can't have that. Can't have that. Instead, now I say, I don't want that. If I do want it, we have grace called holidays, and I get 6 of those a month. So if I want it, I can have it. But do I want to take the time out of EFB, or do I want to pay the consequences of that? Is it good enough that I'm willing to, you know, take a day or two off from my goals and my journey? And if I want it bad enough, then I'll have a holiday. But if not, you know, if we keep saying, well, I can't have that, well, what did you ever do with something you couldn't have, made you want it that much more? Or it has me. I don't know if y'all are the same as me, but if you tell me I can't have it, then usually that's when I want it, even if I didn't before. But if we just say, well, I can have that, but it's not time, or, you know, I don't want to take time out from my goals to have to enjoy that.
Good stuff. Good keen observation. If you tell yourself no, you're not telling yourself no, actually. It's a thought. You can't have that. Same thing happened with Adam and Eve. Been going on since the beginning of time. And that once we're aware and we realize these aren't even our thoughts, we think they're our thoughts. I'll prove it to you. Okay. Chris says, y'all pray for my friend Chris. I've gone off the rails, wake up call at urgent care, blood pressure up. We're praying for you, Chris. We love you, sis. Please pray for my friend Chris. She's been a good friend to both me and Sasha. We got you. I'll prove it to you. How many times have you given in? I know this is a great debate amongst some of our people when I say something so outlandish as all thoughts are all lies all the time. How many times have you been doing well? You've been rocking this program or some other program. You've been killing it. And then the FOMO hits and you start hearing this voice. You can't have that. You can't have that. You can't have that. It's not fair. It's not fair. And then you end up doing it. You associate with the thought. You touch and agree with it. You end up having whatever it was then immediately you go, why did I do that? Have you ever did that, or am I the only one? Why did I do that? I did not want to do that. Why did I
Done
do
that many times, brother. Many times.
that? So how is it your thought? You got tricked. You got tricked. Y'all probably gonna, I sometimes I come across the wrong way, but I think that's one reason why I'm under stinking attack all the time. And then I sit around and I listen to the enemy go, "You did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did this wrong," and then I start boohooing, and then I want to fix it, and then I realize, wait a minute, I ain't done nothing wrong. I'm just living. But I attach myself to the thought. The devil, he has no power over you except for to give you a thought, because if you touch and agree and then act on the thought, he's got you. So you do it. We listen to these lies, and it wasn't you. You weren't feeling deprived at all. Think about it. You weren't feeling deprived. You're a sober-minded person. You look in the mirror and you know you don't need no more food. I'm just being honest. You know that you've got goals. You know that you're going to have to pay for those goals. There's an exchange. I've got to sacrifice something to get what I want. That's who you are. But then you've got it going on, and the devil goes, I've got to interrupt this. She's about to have a breakthrough. He's about to have a breakthrough. I'm going to interrupt it with the same trickery I used since the beginning of time. You're going to be missing out. It's not fair. So-and-so's losing more weight than you anyway. You're barely losing any weight. It's not even worth it. And you're having to give up all this life. And then as soon as you touch and agree and act on it, he got you. And then think about it, as soon as he gets you, you start lamenting over it. You don't even enjoy what you were enjoying. You don't even enjoy the mouth pleasure you were having, because you're like, why did I do that? I messed up. It wasn't you. You have to be vigilant and aware that this Satan is real and he's coming for you. Go ahead.
So, and we have to really emphasize the fact that it's okay to be tempted. It's okay to have those thoughts. Jesus was tempted. It's when we take that step and keep thinking about those, that's when we have to be careful. So many times we've been conditioned, and not because people have told us, but because in our own mind, we have let it come to be a belief that we should be strong enough not to have those thoughts or those temptations. That's not true. We will have those thoughts, we'll have the temptations, but greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world.
Amen. Amen. We just step back from it. Don't associate with it. Let the thought pass. If you knew that it was you, there's nobody here that loves the devil, do you? If you knew that you were communing with that rascal and that this is his message, not your message, you'd step back from it and go, no, no, no. It's just us becoming aware. I think the Bible, Jennifer, somewhere says, I'm not quoting it accurately, but let's be not ignorant of the devices of the devil. Let's don't be ignorant. We're not ignorant anymore. We know what he's up to. So just being awareness, and that's not your thought. Your thought is the one that you had when you were writing up your vision. You're coming up with a godly vision for your future, and that you wanted to honor the Lord with your temple. That's who you are. It's not the other. That's Satan. You don't feel deprived at all. You don't even feel like it's too expensive. When people say it's too expensive, you're not feeling that way, because if you'll stop a minute, you'll realize you spend less eating healthy than you did when you was eating all that junk. So it's all lies. The only thoughts that are truth are whatever's lovely, honorable, good, and what are pragmatic thoughts. We do have to have practical thoughts about how to get from point A to point B. You have to have a plan. You have to work the plan. But all the other junk, especially the missing out, or puffing you up, or that's how Satan works. He wants you to think more highly of yourself. When you get going good, and you're really rocking it, all of a sudden you'll get puffed up. Well, I don't need them people. I've got quick story. I've got a lady, she's not here. I'm not offending her. She let us know when she was gone, she was gone. She started out just like all of us. She was, to put it mildly, bluntly, not mildly, she was dealing with 200 plus pounds that she needed to lose. And she come and she was a part of the community, and she lost the weight. And then she went on to other things. We'll just call it exercise. And then every other day she said, them people make me sick. Them people make me sick. All they do is whine. All they do is complain. Yada, yada, yada. I'm too good for this. I am not making this up. And we had finally had our fill of it and said, why don't you just go on? Because these people, we're not going to shut them down. They're in the beginning stages. You was once there too. And if it's getting on your nerves, just don't come to that, but don't knock people that, because you were that way too. But the devil can get you, and now never mind, I won't go there. So the head can get puffed up, mine, yours. The devil will put thoughts in your head. You got this. You don't need the same principles that you use to lose the weight. It's boring. Have you seen that happen? And then when we get in there, all the same old people just whining and crying about something drives me crazy. Next thing you know, you can't see the good for focusing on the bad. Then what happens? Then you gain the weight back, and then you're doing this. I'm so pathetic. I'm awful. I'm a terrible person. I'm not disciplined. You have to watch out for every thought that Satan is throwing at you. You know, the truth of it is we're just children of God. We're not to think too highly of ourselves, and we ought not think lowly of ourselves. We are the children of a servant, the servant and a king who became a servant. So we got it made, but we got to quit listening to the devil. I'm pointing both hands at y'all, so I have 6 fingers pointing back at me, talking to me, preaching to the choir. Anybody else?
For me, it works the opposite. I don't get the big head for what I do. I look at what I don't do, and I let the negative me beat myself down. Oh, you can't do it. You can't do it. So I've got a pair of 5X jeans that I couldn't even get a number. I had to get the stretch bands, in the waist because I was so huge in that wheelchair. And I have them, and I literally have them pinned on my closet door in my bedroom to remind me. And now I'm down into an 18s and 20s, and I'm like, yeah, I got further to go, but I'm not where I was. I need that or visual kick in the pants sometimes to say, quit beating yourself up. You're okay. You've had setbacks. I've had many setbacks, but I keep fighting.
Amen. Amen. It is those setbacks are part of the journey. Bible tells us that a good man will fall 6 times, he'll stand up a 7th. Good woman. We just don't want to fall down and stay down. All right, so the book, if anybody's got anything to share, I just want to quickly go over how to use the book. Certainly now, in hindsight, I would have added a little more to it, but you don't know until hindsight. So one of the things is, what about the servings? It doesn't say what is a serving, how many cups or whatnot. I've never done recipes like that. Maybe I'll reconsider next time, but we've never done it that way because we have a portion component. The recipes are only using ingredients that are categorized. So we know what those calories are. And to keep the program simplified, all we have to do when we're making each of the recipes, some are sandwiches, but each of the recipes are supposed to be 4 servings. So when I'm taking that recipe, the fullness of it, a serving should fit easily, neatly on a portion control plate. That's how we've always followed. In fact, in the beginning, we only looked at portions from the standpoint of a 6 to 8 inch plate. But now people are more into calories and macros and things like that. If you take the recipe, it's controlling insulin, it's adequate protein, and then all we do is take a serving and we use our portion plate or we use our 2-hand rule. That's your serving. Some people get a little more, like me. Some people, if you're 5'2", you're going to get a little less unless you have gigantic hands. So that's how we do it. Your stomach, ironically, in its natural state, it'll hold about the amount of substance that you can cover with 2 hands, and it's no thicker than the thickest part of your hand. The other part of it was questions about which of these meal ideas are best for weight loss. So when we look at our combination chart, there is a combination chart on page 60. We didn't use color for obvious reasons, but blowtorch is your red column, fastest weight loss, your yellow column, fast combinations. Now, someone has said, I thought blue column was slow weight loss. It's a mindset thing for me. Even the blue column, if you're losing weight, that's fast. If you're only losing 1 pound per week, that is fast fat loss. It's not what we want to hear, but think about it, how unfair we are to the process. If I gain 1 pound of fat every week for 1 year, I've now put on 52 pounds of fat. And I would think I put on fat fast that year. If we lose 1 pound of fat every week for a year, we go, it was slow. It's not slow. You just want it off now. I get it. Okay. Can't think like that. It's a new lifestyle, a new birth, so to speak. So all fat loss is fast if you're sticking with a lifestyle that's allowing for fat loss. So then you'll see that the meal ideas, when you get to that section, they are categorized. So like 7+2, we know that without MCT, that's yellow. With MCT, it's red. So you've got it by the combination. So chapter 9, page 101, 1, 2 and MCT, grilled chicken and mixed green salad, turkey and vegetable stir fry, spiced pork tenderloin with asparagus, baked salmon with cauliflower. And what we tried to do was focus all of this on whole foods. That's been a knock for years that I have felt unfair, that this is not a whole food program. Almost every single thing, though, every one of those meal ideas is almost nothing but whole food. So, and you've got, I know there's at least, I haven't even counted them, there's over 100 meal ideas. And the book was not so much a recipe book as it was a learning tool, a learning guide. Certainly there's foods in there and recipes, but it was more to show you how to combine food the right way. Hope that makes sense. When you get into the blue column, I talked to somebody yesterday and said, oh, I didn't know I could lose weight fast eating something like that. And it was something like shrimp, long grain brown rice, broccoli, and bell peppers. You can't as fast. But the point was, it is a blue column combination that would work for weight loss. Thank you, Penny. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We don't know the interest level, but of course, there's 2 other books, and then we've got some collectors books that will come out that will have, there won't be more than a certain number published, but they'll have the ring binding for easy flipping. They'll be ring bound, a different cover, and then in the back, they will be bonus tips in each of the exclusive offers. So it will be this book with a ring binder, and then we've added stuff in the back called bonus. And that way, people that want to support Shibboleth and keep us going can. And we added some really cool stuff with a ring binder and each one will be signed, and there will only be exclusive. There will be no more, so that people know they've got one of only a few copies. So we're going to be doing that too. Thank you, Penny. There is a few people saying they still haven't got their book. It's been crazy good chaos. Thank y'all for the support of the book. If yours still hasn't arrived, please let myself or Lara or Karen know, and we'll get on it. There's just been stuff flying everywhere. So no purposeful intentional overlook. Angela, we'll be putting those up. Probably look for an announcement next week. We're doing plates and doing books that are going to be collectors' items to help our members. All of them are very functional, good tools, stuff that I would want, but also will help raise money for Cibola for those that want to do that. And what we'll do is do probably a text and go ready, set, go, because we want to make them valuable by limiting the number of them. And plus, I want to sign each one of those. The people that are helping us relaunch and rebrand mean the world. Not that everybody doesn't, but I want to make sure that I know who's supporting us so that I can sign each copy. Anybody else?
May I ask for clarification on a comment that was made a couple of classes ago about, because I've been questioned and I think I know the answer, but I want your answer. Carbs after 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I know what my answer is, but what's your answer so that I can respond appropriately to the question that's been put to me privately?
Carbs after 4 p.m. are absolutely fine as long as they're in the right combination and as long as they're portion controlled. Now, where that comes from is me saying to people that I know they won't settle for anything other than the fastest weight loss, you need to drop carbs after 4 p.m.
Okay, this derived from the Wednesday class with Daisy.
If you're wanting, yes, Daisy seemed to me to need to see some positive news on the scales. If you eat carbohydrate at night in the right combination, you're still losing fat. However, you'll still be holding that water the next morning. So I wanted her to drop 2 pounds, and I think I read that she did.
She did.
I'm pretty good. I don't mean that condescendingly. It's just I've been weighing and doing all that. So it's more of a mental thing. If she would have had carbs in the right combination and portion, she would have lost ounces of fat that may not have showed up on the scales. She might have even went up. The only way to make sure that you drain that water retention, if you're wanting to see something on the scales every day, is to drop those carbs after 4 p.m.
Okay, so a little more clarification. When you say carbs, are you talking about 2s and 3s or primarily 3s?
It's definitely better to drop all carbs after 4 if you just want to be satisfied by looking at the scale. That mentality will catch up to us eventually, but let me tell you what really causes the water retention. All category 3s, all category 5s, any of the lentils and legumes in category 6, which is almost all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then any category 2 bread. That's always going to cause some water retention. So if I'm just having, now translation is, I'm not worried about water retention if I had 96% lean hamburger steak patty with stewed squash. There's nothing to worry about there. The only weight that's going to be associated with that is what still hasn't been eliminated from the meal the next morning.
Okay. I believe the person Ask Me is here, so this is even better. She's getting it firsthand.
All starch and all carbohydrate per weight. For example, this is 5. We're not talking fat right now. I'm just showing this is heavy. This is 5 pounds. Bad analogy. Here's a better one. This is 1 pound of fat. Okay. We're not talking about fat. I'm just saying this is a pound. For every pound of carbohydrate that I consume today, and it doesn't take long to do it, I'm also going to attach to it 3 times more in water. So from a weight standpoint, if I ate a pound of carbohydrate or starch, I'm now going to, all of that carb is going to latch on to water at 3 times that weight. So for every pound of carbohydrate that I consume, I'm going to temporarily store 4 pounds. That's why when you go on a binge on a Saturday night, the next day you're up 7 pounds and you're like, I only lost 3 all week. I had one night off and I gained 7. It was just all water. You just needed to get back on the program, but instead the person quits. But now watch this. If I go 0 carbs, all right, and I'm retaining no fluid, you will lose weight every day for a few days, but then you'll be dehydrated and you'll have to refuel anyway. There's no way to trick this thing. It's just perfect day. Watch this. If I ate blue columns, now hear me, if I ate blue column 3 times a day, is this okay to do this, to give y'all some way to think about it? Sometimes I feel like I don't make sense. Let's take 2 people. Let's take myself and let's take Brother Will, similar size men. He's going to get started with no carbs. I'm going to get started and I'm going to have 3 eating episodes a day, blue column. I'm going to have an egg white omelet and egg white and spinach omelet with 1 package of grits. For lunch, I'm going to have chicken breast, broccoli, and a little bit of potato. Keep in mind, I'm controlling my portion. At night, I'm going to have, I've got my shrimp and scallops, rice, cauliflower, and a piece of corn. 3 eating episodes, all portion controlled, all controlling insulin a little bit. Okay, I got a little insulin, but mostly I'm doing a good job. Is everybody with me? Will had nothing, no carbs. So the next day on the scales, I just started my diet. On the next day on the scales, I'm up 1 pound because I ate 3 servings of carbohydrate that latched on the water. Will's down 5 pounds. Who do we think is winning that diet war? We think Will's winning. Let's do what Will's doing. Wrong. Day 2, I do the same thing. Will does the same thing. After day 2, Will's down 6. I'm down 1/4 pound. Day 3, Will's down 7. I'm not down anything on day 3. I had carbs, 3 proper servings of carbs again. Day 4, but I'm in a calorie deficit and I'm controlling insulin and I got more fuel than Will does. Are y'all with me? Now we're through it a week. Will had 1 holiday. He netted out at 5 pounds lost for the week. I didn't have any holidays. I had 3 servings of carbs every day, controlled them, and I'm only down 1 pound. The next week, we do the same deal. I lose 2 pounds. Now I'm down 3 pounds in 2 weeks. Will didn't lose any. The next week, Will hadn't give up. He's back to 0 carbonate. He lost 1. I've caught up with Will. Are y'all with me? Do you see what I'm saying? It's all, either way, all you can do is trick yourself for a little while. Then it all boils down to this: calorie deficit, insulin control. There's no way around it. And muscle and adequate protein. So we're getting adequate protein to preserve muscle. We're controlling insulin, then we're only going to go as fast as the amount of calorie deficit we're enjoying. Does that all make sense? We're only going to go as fast. You can make it look good in the beginning by getting rid of all that glucose and all that water. You can only do that in the beginning. The only way a person loses 100 pounds is calorie deficit, long-term calorie deficit, insulin control, adequate protein. That's it. There is no quick fix. You can go have surgery, and that looks like it's really quick. Go talk to 90% of those people. 18 months later, the weight's coming back. What we need is a proper lifestyle. Now, granted, I don't want to have too many carbs either. I don't feel as good. I start feeling inflamed. One serving of carbs per day is enough for me, or the sneaky carbs that get in anyway. And I do not like to eat carbs after 4 p.m. because I don't need them. Does that make sense too? I'm not suggesting you start eating carbs at night. You technically need no energy when your metabolism is ramping down for the night and you're getting set to go in recovery. Because if you don't use that energy, it's going to end up as fat on the body. So I'm not saying that you should start eating Blue Column 3 times a day, because you probably won't lose weight, because you have to be even more strict with your calorie deficit. I'm mostly a red column, yellow column guy, but I use the Blue Column so that I can enjoy a potato or corn if I need to and want to. Fruit. It's even better before going to the Blue Column, to be honest, so that I don't mess all this up and see a bunch of Blue Column stuff. It's even better to just avoid the Blue Column until you reach your goal. You will reach it faster because you're having less calories and less insulin secretion. How much protein do we need a day? You can go, if you're a partner, I'll give you some math. If you're not, you don't need as much protein to preserve muscle as they say, especially if you're getting some activity. But you can go in here and go into protein intake and tell it what your mode is. Weight loss is my mode. Lean body weight. Lean body weight is absent of fat on your body. You can do an assessment and it'll tell you what your lean body weight is. So I'm 200 pounds. So my lean body weight, I know last time I did an assessment, is 165. So if I'm in the weight loss mode, I need 82 to 165 grams of protein a day. Basically, you find your lean body weight, not your complete body weight. Protein does not support fat. You don't need to calculate how much protein you need for fat mass. You look at lean tissue only, and it's a half a gram up to a gram of protein a day. If I'm trying to build muscle, I would need 250 to 330 grams of protein a day. Does that make sense, everyone? If you eat 3 eating episodes a day, you are getting adequate protein. If you have a set of Renpho scales, it will give you your lean body weight. And if you don't, you can do an online assessment in your journal, and it will tell you how much excess fat you have, how much reserve fat you have, how much essential, and what your lean body weight is. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Did everybody get something today? Something that's helpful? Never want you to come to class and leave feeling it was a waste of time. They're not always barn burners, but Jennifer's been bringing the barn burning stuff. Thank God. Anybody else got anything before we go? Glad you're here, Chris. All right. Well, we love yuns in the Lord. Keep going with the journal challenge. Lots of people have stuck with it. Lots of people didn't. Once we finish, we'll have another one, but it's good to see so many people doing good and completing the phrase and having fun with it. Good job, everyone. Does anybody feel like dismissing us? $37 people. I'm gonna have to put somebody on the spot. All right, I'll do it. Dear gracious and heavenly Father, we come to you, God, with humble hearts. Thankful, Lord, for this group that you've assembled here. We know that you inhabit our praise. So first and foremost, we just want to praise you for who you are, what you're doing in each of our lives. Thank you for putting a good group together, Father. And we pray, God, when it's the right timing, that you send more into the fold that can contribute to the group and not take away from it. We want to keep and maintain a sweet spirit, motivated people who really want to change, and just a good group, Father, that want more than anything to please you, Father. Lord, if there's any here that needs a touch, we pray, God, that you would give them that they need to keep going, to encourage themselves, to maintain motivation, whatever it might be, God. We come to you not knowing specifically what to ask, because we know that your ways are higher than our ways. We come to you, God, because we want to honor you. We want to fellowship with you. We know that your will for our life is better than our own. Lord, if there's anybody here that doesn't have perfect peace, I pray, God, that you would help them find that this day by submitting unto you, unto your word, and helping us resist the enemy so that he might flee. God, we want to celebrate. We've heard some positive success stories today. We celebrate with them. Lord, those that are mourning loss, we mourn with them. Go with us, be with us throughout the rest of this day. And Father, if any good things accomplished from any of our efforts here in this group, we'll bow our unworthy head and give you the praise for it all, because it's in Jesus' name that we do humbly pray and beg. Amen and amen. All right. Thank y'all. We'll talk soon. Have a great Friday. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Amen, Coach Dawson. Proverbs 4:23. Good one to part on. Thank y'all.